What's going on, guys? Welcome to Shifting Lanes. My name is Hanson. That's Chad. Thank you for tuning in. We're standing in front of a 2017 Cadillac CTS V Sport. So it's not the bonkers CTS V, but it's also still very fast.
Yeah, 4.4 seconds to 60. I personally think it is the best looking car in the segment. As an overall package, it is a fantastic car. Let's take a look. Best thing about Cadillac that I love is just the way they're doing the headlight design now. Just kind of that blade that comes right down.
I'm a big fan. Really distinctive when you're driving down the road. It really makes a very good road presence.
It's distinctive, but it doesn't beat you over the head with it.
Yeah.
So like you instantly know it's a Cadillac, but it's not like overtly, oh God, there's a Cadillac. You know what I mean? You know, with most other cars that have the sport name after it, the M Sport, the F Sport from Lexus, etc., S-Line from Audi, you see sport badges everywhere.
Yeah.
You know, usually you got one here, you got one on the wheel, you got one, you know, everywhere you can look.
Well, you gotta show everyone that you bought the more expensive version.
Right, well, because clearly when you spend more money, you are more important than everyone else. It's almost anti-American and more German in its understatedness, which is kind of strange given how, you know, loud and brash this car is when you're actually driving on it. I mean, there's no fake noises here. This has a performance exhaust fitted to it from factory, a $1,600 or $1,700 option, which is a little ridiculous in my view, but the upshot is it makes the car sound phenomenal. The only downside to it, these.
Yes.
What
is up with these fake? Why not just make it just cylindrical? Make it simple.
And the other thing about the exterior is, I honestly think, given the wheel size, which these are 18s, you do have the option for 19s, is I think on the rear, there's just too much quarter panel. When you're up close, it kind of looks okay and fine, but as you move away from the car, it kind of becomes, there's too much of it between like the waistline and the wheel.
And there it is, guys. That is the 2017 Cadillac CTS V Sport.
So the only thing left to do now is take it for a ride.
Let's do it. My first thoughts, it's comfortable inside. Love the microfiber steering wheel. The seats are so supportive. These are Recaros. It feels really, really composed. Taking the turns at speed, this feels like a German car, I think, but it's a Caddy. I love the layout. The speedometer looks really nice when you put it into sport mode or track mode. You get this white speedometer dial, white tack, and it just pops out. So when you're driving hard, you're focused on the one thing that's most important, and that's engine speed. It doesn't matter how fast you're going, engine speed is where it's at.
So you actually like the white dial?
I like it, yeah.
I would have to disagree, but it's a little too in your face for my taste. I agree with you. The seats are phenomenal. You can adjust the hell out of them. You can not just tilt or how close you are to the steering wheel, the bolstering on both your back and your ass, you can adjust almost infinitely, and it makes it a really comfortable but yet supportive ride. And when you have sport in the title of the car, you need supportive seats. I really like the interior on this, or the simplicity of this interior, and that it's just black on black with a little bit of carbon fiber and a dash of chrome. Sometimes in luxury cars it gets a little too over the top. This is simple and to the point.
Yeah, there's like not much to kind of distract you from the driving experience, but I noticed that there's like no dials at all on the center console, and it's just a bunch of these touch sensitive with some haptic feedback, and I find that a little weird and kind of tough to get used to, because this is completely different than any other cars. You know, when I'm like pulling up and talking to someone, I just want to quickly reach over and say, turn it to one way, and I get completely like no audio, whereas in here I have to kind of find where the volume slider is and then slide it all the way down and wait till it goes to mute.
I completely agree. What exactly was wrong with just a knob? Boom, done.
Yeah.
But you see that in a lot of cars now where they're getting away from the nice chunky knobs that are easy to find, so you can adjust HVAC, volume control, all that fun stuff. It's all in these centralized infotainment systems, and we're kind of even though we're not exactly old, we're still partial to the old school way of doing things.
It's just simpler.
Simpler, easier, and better. There's a couple other little things in the interior. The rear seating, rear legroom and stuff like that could be better, but it's not terrible.
And the most important seat in this car is the driver's seat, and it feels really, really nice. It's got like a 72-way adjustable.
Yeah,
I don't know what it is, but
it's all, I would call it an infinitely adjustable seat, which is hilarious when you think about the fact that the paddle shifters are magnesium. So
yes.
Let's save weight and then add like 5 million motors.
Which, by the way, these paddle shifters are really nice. It goes to that theme where everything that you touch in this car, everything that's important, is really nice, and that's what really matters. Is like if the stuff that you constantly get a hold of is nice, you're going to get a much better driving experience, and Cadillac has done that really, really well.
Now, speaking of things that are actually important, let's talk about the engine. It's 3.6 liters, it's twin turbocharged, 420 horsepower, 430 foot-pounds of torque, and I personally think it sounds phenomenal.
It's a lively engine.
Yeah, power is no good unless you can contain it. With great power comes great suspension responsibility.
Right. And with this car, it feels pretty composed on the road. I love the way it kind of hunkers down in the turns, and I think that's because of the magnetic adjustable suspension, right?
I think what it is it makes you feel almost more like you're a much better driver than you actually are. Being able to dampen individual corners based on steering input, throttle input, all that fun stuff is, a professional racing driver, they're doing all that stuff. They're modulating the throttle, the steering input based on conditions, because they're, highly tuned ass can feel what the car is doing. Oh, it's getting a little squirrely in the front left. I do need to do this, this, and this. Whereas the average driver, and even though we all think we're racing drivers, we're not. The average driver isn't necessarily thinking it. So the car kind of quietly in the background, almost like a butler, is just sitting there making those adjustments for you while you can just sit back and enjoy the ride. So all you really have to focus on is acceleration, braking, and how much I should put steering input wise.
How much does this vehicle cost?
This vehicle so the CTS V Sport starts at around $61,000. As equipped with the luxury package, you're looking at $71,000, and
$71,000.
That is a lot of coin to spend on a car, especially when you can, for about $16,000 more, you can go full lunatic and get the full-on CTS 640 horsepower CTS V. I mean, I understand you may not want that in your life if it's going to be a daily driver, but still, if you can afford this car, you can afford the full-on V.
That's true, and that brings up a good question, who's really going to buy this car?
I think the person who buys this car is someone who wants the V, but maybe for reasons such as real-world life, maybe the wife, he wants he wants something sportier than the regular CTS, but maybe circumstances dictate where maybe it might be just a skosh irresponsible to have a four-door Corvette, and so this is the compromise.
With the V Sport, you get that 420 horsepower engine, which is no slouch at all.
Like I said before, 4.4 seconds to 60. I mean, it wasn't that long ago where we were happy about that in a Corvette.
Yeah.
So in conclusion, the Cadillac CTS V Sport. I think it's an absolutely fantastic car. I really like it. If you just looked at this car, as a kind of performance sedan, and in a vacuum, it is a very good car.
Yeah.
It handles well. It's got plenty of power. Yeah. It's very nice inside. But we don't live in a vacuum.
Right.
And that's why I think cars of this type, it doesn't make sense brand new. And that's why, personally, if it were me, I'd wait a year or two, wait for these things to come off a lease, and then get one secondhand. Because it just doesn't make sense at $71,000.
Overall, good car, too expensive.
As always, guys, thank you so much for watching. Please like and share if you enjoyed this video. Check out some of the other stuff on the channel. That's Hanson. I'm Chad. We'll catch you next time.